Hello everybody, this is Solartiger with another solar power video. Today is Sunday the 9th of February 2020 and it is a Sunday and it's been very stormy outside as Storm Kira has hit the UK. It's been very windy and it rained very heavily, and as you can see we have damage in the garden outside. The panel fencing has been destroyed because of the severe winds we've had. The winds have been up to 60 miles an hour for the last 24 hours. But this video is about my new battery monitor. As you've seen before, this was the battery monitor I was using, the NASA BM1 Compact from NASA Marine, and I said that in a previous video I was going to replace it because it only shows the battery voltage and the current in and out of the battery. It doesn't show you the amp hours and other data, so I have bought a new battery monitor. I have bought the Victron Energy BMV712 smart battery monitor. This monitor has smart capability. It has Bluetooth built in. So this is the monitor. It came in this box, a blue and orange box. The battery monitor from Victron Energy. Again, this product has the 5-year guarantee, as you'd expect from Victron. So inside the box you get the monitor and the round faceplate. It comes with a shunt, which I'll show you in a moment, and 2 sets of battery cables, because you can monitor your main battery and you can monitor the voltage of a second battery, which might be useful if you put this in an RV where you normally monitor the house battery, but you want to also make sure that your starter battery is charged for when you want to drive to your next location. There is nothing worse than suddenly discovering that your battery is dead for some reason, so that's the main use for that. I'm monitoring my system at home. I have only one battery bank, so I only use one of the battery cables. In the box you also get a printed manual in several languages, and I read it online before I bought the product, and I'll show you how I installed it. So this is my solar power cabinet where all my stuff's inside. As you've seen before, all my stuff is inside the cabinet. I have my MPPT 100/20 solar charge controller from Victron Energy. This is the one with the built-in Bluetooth. I don't monitor it over Bluetooth, and I can monitor it remotely with my Raspberry Pi, as I told you in the last video. In the top left corner is a wind charge controller, the Marlec HRSI, for my Rutland 913 wind generator, which is out there. That's been spinning like crazy for the last 24 hours. So that's that. And so the monitor is installed in my cupboard door. I drilled a hole. You need a 52mm hole to put this in, and then there's a nut on the back to secure it. Alternatively, you can secure it with screws. This plate here comes off, the monitor's actually round, and you can screw through the front as well. So that's where the monitor is. The shunt is in the battery box. This is my battery box. I have 3 100 amp hour sealed lead acid batteries they're all wired in parallel to create a 12 volt 300 amp hour battery bank. The BMV712 comes with a shunt. This is a 500 amp shunt. As you can see, that says 500 amps, 50 millivolts, and you connect the shunt in the negative line to the battery. So the shunt has two terminals. I've had to turn it upside down so that the terminals are in a convenient place. So on this side we have the battery connection. There's a cable from there to the negative of the battery, and this side is where you connect all the loads. So all my loads go to this side. So I have a solar charge controller and my inverter, and if I decide to use the battery charger, I connect the crocodile clip here, and the positive clamp goes over there, and I can monitor my charging. So I'll take this off. One thing I will tell you is that I used to have the shunt for the BM1 compact. Here's the shunt, and the thing to note here is that the shunt for the BM1 compact has 8mm bolt. You use an 8mm terminal to go onto this bolt, but the Victron one you need to have a 10mm round connector or 10mm ring connector to go onto the bolts. Now the cables I had, I was using an 8mm ring terminal and they wouldn't fit on there, so that means that my battery negative cable had 8mm ring connectors on both ends, and what that means is now if I install the Victron, it won't fit on the 10mm bolt. So I had to make up a new cable, and unfortunately I only had one 10mm ring terminal and I used it on the negative battery cable, and which meant when I came to fitting my loads onto the load terminal, the 8mm ring terminals that I've been using won't fit on the bolt, and I had no 10mm ring terminals to cut them off and replace them with. So what I did is I got a piece of aluminium plate. It's actually a heatsink, and what I did is I drilled a 10mm hole on this side to fit onto the bolt, and on this side I drilled a 8mm hole for me to put a bolt through to connect my leads. So that was a bit of modifying I had to do. The shunt connects to the actual monitor with a cable. That's this beigey grey cable. It goes up there, up there, up there, up there, up there, inside the cabinet to the back of the monitor. There is a red battery cable that is down here. It's this red wire. It plugs into the bottom of the shunt, and it goes over there through a small fuse to the positive battery terminal. That's so that the monitor can measure the battery voltage, and it also provides the power to the monitor. So that's that in the battery box. So if I show you where the cable goes, there's the cable, goes through there, there's a load of slack cable there, and then it goes up, 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 up here, here, up here, to the back of the door, to the back of the monitor. Now also the monitor also has a VE direct port that you can connect to monitor your device. So I bought another Victron USB cable, this one, that goes from the back of the monitor over there to the slack that's down there, back up and into the Raspberry Pi. So the battery monitor and the solar charge controller are connected to the Raspberry Pi, so that I can monitor both devices over the internet, as you saw in my solar charge controller video. Now the monitor itself has 4 buttons: a setup, plus minus and select, and you use that to set up the monitor. You can also set your monitor up with the Victron Connect app, which you can connect to it via Bluetooth. I did that because it's easier than scrolling through lots of menus, and easy is good for me. But basically, to set it up, you need to tell it the capacity of your battery, and since I have a 300 amp hour battery bank, that's the value I put in. You don't need to enter the battery voltage, as it automatically selects that when you first power it on, and that works fine. So on the screen you can see my battery bank is at 12.98 volts. You press plus, you get the time to go figure. If you was drawing a load, it would tell you how long your battery bank could supply that load for until it was empty. It gives you a state of charge as a percentage. The battery bank is 100% charged. There's also a battery symbol there as well. It says that I've used 0.2 amp hours. So as you use your load, it has an amp hour counter, and that goes up. And as you use your load, you have a minus value, and the minus value goes up as you use the load. And as you charge the battery, that gradually works its way back to 0. So that's how that works. So obviously you have to have enough charging energy to over the whole day to cover what you used, otherwise your battery will go flat eventually. So that's what that's for. It tells you the power you're drawing from the battery. A negative figure means you're drawing power from the battery, and a positive figure shows that you are charging the battery. It's kind of late in the day now, so we're not putting much power in. So it says now, as you can see, it gives you a current readout, how much amps you're using from the battery. A minus value means you are drawing current from the battery, and a positive value means you are charging the battery. And then we go back to the main menu. Now, if you have a second battery, then you can show the value of that. But because I don't have a second battery, I have chosen to remove that off the menu, which you can do through the app. So that's how that works. So this is a quick overview of the battery monitor that I bought. This is the box. On the back of the box is a connection diagram. So this is how you connect it up. So this is your main battery bank, and from the main battery bank you can monitor the voltage, the current going in and current coming out, the power in and out, and the wattage as well. If you buy the temperature sensor, it can monitor the temperature as well, but that's an additional thing. But it works through the shunt, and the shunt is always connected in the negative part of your system. It goes between your loads and the negative terminal of the battery. And as you can see here, there's a B1 and B2 terminal. The 712 can measure 2 batteries. So B1 would be your primary battery, and B2 would be a secondary battery, like the starter battery in your motorhome, say. But for that one it can only measure the voltage. But it can tell you if the voltage goes too high or too low. So it only measures the voltage of the second battery. You can also set alarms as well, so if the battery voltage goes too high, say there's something wrong with your charging source and it goes faulty and it charges your battery too high, you can have an alarm. And if the voltage goes too low, say you use the load too much and your battery gets down to a low value, you can trigger an alarm. And also, because the monitor also has a relay, you can configure it to do different things with the relay. So if your battery is getting low, you could wire up the relay to cut off your load, or you could wire up the relay to start a battery charger or generator to charge up your battery. So that's another thing you can do with it. So you can do quite a few things with it, and it did cost me £175, but this is for the Bluetooth version. You can buy a non-Bluetooth version called the BMV712, and that one only monitors one battery as well. So that doesn't have the Bluetooth monitoring though, which means you need to have the battery monitor somewhere where you can see it. If you have the Bluetooth version, the 712, you can connect to it via Bluetooth, so you could put this in a cupboard somewhere maybe, where you might not be able to see it, but you can easily connect to it via your phone and you can see all the readings on the Victron Connect app. So that's that. So this is Solartiger with another solar video about the Victron battery monitor, the BMV712, which is from Victron Energy. The unit is designed in the Netherlands and this one is manufactured in Malaysia. So this is Solartiger saying thank you for watching my video, and I'll see you next time in another video. So thank you and goodbye. Thank you.